Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast. That was live footage of Jeff trying to get to this episode. Very confident last night. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. And here we are this morning, Clay and I.
He's so hungover this morning, so
Yeah, man, that's why I don't drink anymore. I'm like, I can't miss a day or two afterwards, which is what.
yeah. There was a point. Really, when I discovered weed, I just quit drinking. So, I was like, I don't have a hangover. I feel great. I was really productive. So,
yeah.
so why would I go drink? It seems expensive and hurtful to my body.
That's right. Today we're doing our regular Sunday show. It's shorter, funnier, maybe. And
Wait till we get to some of my movies. You're gonna be like, Clay, what the hell, man?
Well, that's an every week occurrence, I think. But yeah, this one's a lot less focused than our last episode. But if you want to check out a more focused episode, which I think turned out pretty well yesterday,
That was a whole lot of fun.
that was great.
I'm looking forward to it. I got to admit, I am a Marvel zombie, but this DC event, I'm kind of excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's got great talent. So Clay is talking about our DCKO episode from yesterday, where we took the bracket given to us by DC Comics, and then we try to figure out who was gonna end up at the top. Unexpected, I think, especially if you're a DC fan and you're like, well, these seem like lock-ins right here. So go check it out.
Yeah.
It's on our channel now.
I still will spill my secret theory of Aquaman and King Shark team up. Yeah, I really feel like that would be the amazing thing to have a post-apocalyptic water world on Earth with the apocalypse planet design.
Right. That'd be cool. What happens to the oceans, right? When they do all that stuff.
Is it just steam? Is it just constant steam like a Blade Runner?
I think that would be interesting of an idea. I think Marvel's probably done it when Namor attacking the surface.
Yeah.
But just maybe one day Aquaman's fed up with people messing around with the ocean.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, that's it. We've had enough. We're all uniting all the creatures or whatever. So
when he starts saying how much microplastics they've ingested,
I know, guys, you have to stop these AI farms. They are taking up all the water.
Yes.
Right. So it's not raining fast enough.
So that would be what apocalypse on Earth would be literally machines running on all the water. That's why there's constant steam on Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know, DC, call us. We're available. I mean,
I got time.
Yeah. What am I gonna say now? I was listening. I was watching a video yesterday before we get into all the other stuff for the week. I was watching a video with CM Punk because there was a big wrestling thing yesterday.
I saw that.
He was talking about how he got into writing comic books.
Yeah.
He said he was just at a bar or at some comment. No, it was, I guess he was at a bar. I know he doesn't drink, but he was hanging out at the San Diego Comic-Con, an after thing. And Axel Alonso, who was the editor-in-chief at Marvel back in the day, came up to him and he's like, so would you want to write a comic book? And he's like, yeah, I actually have a 12-part Punisher story in my head. I can write it down right now.
Whoa.
He ended up doing Drax and a Thor story.
Yeah, I remember this Drax run.
But ultimately, that just kind of goes to show you when an opportunity shows up, just don't say no. Go for it.
Okay, you're in his seat. What story's in your head? What's?
Oh, that's interesting because, well, is it Axel Alonso or is it somebody from DC like Dan DiDio back in the day coming at me?
I think you're gonna have more leeway with Axel because I think he was probably one of the best editors in chief in terms of what Marvel was doing under him.
I would want to do a character that doesn't get a lot of shine probably like somewhere like a Better Ray Bill, something like that. Maybe. All right, so let me just come up with something real quick.
Beta Ray Bill that was done by Daniel Warren
Yeah,
Johnson.
yeah. That was cool. So I think in my story, Thor's missing for some reason, right? Right now he's king of I was gonna say Atlantis. He's king of Asgard,
Yeah.
but he's missing, and the only person that can fill in for him is Better Ray Bill because we know that he's also worthy. So it's him having a struggle with like trying to figure things out, also trying to find Thor. And then yeah, I think the like a story about a king that maybe is unwilling to be on the throne would be pretty interesting. But that's about all I can muster in 30 seconds. So Axel Alonso, I know you're not there anymore, but I mean you could put in a good word if
Oh
you like
yeah.
to
I
pitch.
my story arc would be like probably like a 12 issue mini of when the X-Men got together, just stories with Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Colossus, and Storm. Like those core four just at being new students at the school, like right after they arrived.
Oh,
Like
like
how
the giant size X-Men people.
yeah, like how they
Okay.
became friends. And it's not necessarily all adventure stuff. It's just like being at the school and like learning and shit like that. Because like it would be weird to be around Logan who's been through most of history and knows
Yeah.
it, but then you have like different aspects from Russia, from Africa, from Germany
Yeah.
that would be told too, but then still probably have an overarching story for them that would be like, I don't know, Arcade or somebody weird, like a really weird villain.
I think that's I really like the idea of Wolverine having been around for so long because you can really drop him in anywhere. So
Yeah.
maybe the idea that he's met everyone that's related, like ancestors of the original X-Men at some point,
Oh
right?
wow.
Like maybe he
Yeah.
spent some time in Russia and he worked with somebody like an ancestor of Colossus or his time in Africa or something like that. I think that'd be interesting to just kind of plug him in. Like he was always meant to come be part of the X-Men with these guys. So
Like he takes the history books at school and then like checks them and like writes
yeah,
in red like this is wrong and writes notes on the side of what really happened.
when they show that picture of Nicolas Cage is in the 1900s or whatever, like there's stuff like that for him, but we know that it's probably true because he's just kind of ageless. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think we could write something interesting. I like the idea of like just doing things in the past that don't really have, like just telling little contained stories where you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't have to go read a bunch of things before or after.
exactly. It's like you're just like with my idea, it's like what if you had these, and these are like adults at the time. I think at the time Colossus joins, he's 17. So he's the
Yeah,
youngest. So he's not the guy that we know now, like who's like bold and wore the Juggernaut helmet, who's had been possessed by Phoenix, who's gone through all these things. He's like, well, like I miss my family. Like, like I'm at this school, but like I really miss my sister. And I just kind of like to keep to myself and draw and do these simple things. And Logan's trying to bring out this guy that he knows that he could be, like,
yeah,
because Logan's been around this type of kid before. And maybe that kid was Steve Rogers at the time, like he sees this possibilities in Colossus that Colossus has never seen in himself.
yep. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. All right. And other things before we get to our previously on stuff, I do have a little quick hit that I think we could talk about. And I know
Yes.
social media is the worst, but sometimes it pays off to have it. Uh,
Sometimes.
yeah. Earlier this week, James Gunn took to Threads, and here I even so he was just I guess he put out like, hey, can we get some show? Can we get some questions? He didn't have time to do his normal thing. Yeah, there we go. He didn't get to do a thing like he does kind of every week because he's
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff. He's real busy. So he asked for questions, right? And one of the questions was here from Eric D. Scro. Oh, damn it! Hold on. I don't want to chime in. I just want to see the whole thing. Will we see Charleston characters like the original Blue Beetle or Captain Atom, the Question, etc. in your new DCU? I really enjoyed Superman, Peacemaker, and Creature Commandos. You're doing an awesome job. And James Gunn's response was just, well, you might be in luck.
Oh, I'm so hyped for this.
Yeah. So my question to you, Clay, and to our audience, if you're watching or if you're watching this later on,
drop it in the comments.
Yeah, drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat. Which Charleston characters would you like to see in the DCU, and like maybe kind of like where or why they would be appearing?
The Question. Above all, the Question. I think that has the possibility to be one of the great characters to come. I mean, because he's done an incredible job with Peacemaker. The Question is just on a different level. If you research the history of the Question, he's very interesting because he's like a black or white. Like everything's kind of like good or evil. But then you look at like how he was adapted into like the Justice League United, where he's very deep into conspiracies and he knows really what's a true conspiracy and what's fact. And and then you can look at how he was also used in Watchmen, and I'm talking Alan Moore versus Zack Snyder. Like the people said that Rorschach is adapted really well. No, they're really different if you look how he is in the comics versus the movie. So the Question done. I really loved like Dennis Cowan's run of the Question, where he's like working in Hub City. He's really a detective. Like I would love to see that kind of adaptation.
Yeah, and this so for those that are just kind of new to comics or maybe not in the know, the Watchmen characters were originally supposed to be the Charleston characters that DC had acquired. Peacemaker being one of those who was adapted to be the comedian in the Watchmen series and in the films. You have Captain Atom, who ended up being Dr. Manhattan, the Blue Beetle, who was Night Owl, right?
Night Owl, yeah.
And then you have, of course, the Question, who became Rorschach. Now, my pick would be Nightshade, which I think is kind of the Silk Spectre, but the Silk Spectre feels like it's a little bit. So Nightshade has the powers to control the darkness, and like there's a little bit more to Nightshade than the Silk Spectre actually ended up with, which I think makes sense because overall the Watchmen were really all regular people other than Dr. Manhattan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense that she wouldn't have those powers, but I think Nightshade would be kind of cool. You've already introduced the concept of like these other alternate dimensions in the Superman film and in the Peacemaker show. So Eve, who's Nightshade, or at least one of the iterations, having this ability to have her own dimension pocket of darkness and do all that, I think would be kind of cool. I don't know exactly where this would fit in. Maybe in some of the more the horror stuff that may be coming, or like the more Justice League Dark type of vibes.
I feel like Swamp Thing's gonna have that that horror vibe a lot.
Yeah. So all right. Well,
so that would now I take the Peacemaker idea of like the gateway, the door.
Yeah.
And like, what if you had that meeting of like Ted Cord or just Blue Beetles? You had like the Dan Garrett, Ted Cord, and the Blue Beetle we know. Like, that would be amazing. Like just to have them meet up in that place. And they're using it differently than the way Peacemaker does, because they're using it for good to help all their worlds.
And the reason, and I love really all three iterations of the Blue Beetle, but the reason I didn't pick Blue Beetle was because I feel like that's the most certain one.
Yeah.
With we know that Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle from the film, although that film I don't know if it's canon. I don't think they've mentioned anything, but we know that iteration, or at least he will be involved in the DC U going forward. I mean, he's talked about that. James Gunn's talked about it. I think James Gunn likes Xolo and the world that was established in that film.
Hold on, I'm having dog issues.
Oh, that's fine. I figured it was a dog, but I'm glad you mentioned it to the audience that you're not just like you're trying to pull a lever and like escape hatch or something.
Yes, it's ejectocito, cuz.
So Cool. Well, let us know which Charleston characters you would like to see, or just in general, which other DC characters you love to see in the screen, and maybe where you want to drop them in. We already have at least Supergirl, Lobo, Clayface, coming next year, and then Superman with more stuff the year after that. I can't believe we're getting a Superman film and a Batman film in the same year.
That is so cool.
That's
I'm waiting for the team up with a different perspective than
yeah.
we got in Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, that's never happened because the last time was a Superman Batman film, right? But it's
Yeah.
not the same as them getting two separate films that are completely unconnected. So,
Yeah, I think a live action Public Enemy.
oh yeah, we've been talking. I mean, I think that's one of the stories we really we love to see. And you can bring in Charleston characters there because Captain Atom is one of the ones he works for the government. So he's coming. He's the one trying to chase them down. So, all right. Let's get into the stuff that we've been watching and then reading after that. So Clay, I'll let you go first, and we'll just go back and forth with our movies and TV shows for the week.
Okay, movies. I do another podcast with my buddy Mike called Saturday Morning Kids, and we're going to do a Hunter S. Thompson episode.
Okay.
And so Fear and Loathing, I feel like is probably one of the most important things he's ever done. I think it's important to the 20th century. The movie is mainly known as like a midnight movie, drug movie type thing.
Okay.
But it's very, if you look at the origins of it, it's Hunter S. Thompson goes on a road trip with his attorney. He calls him his attorney. God, I'm drawing blank on his name. I hate that. But essentially what started is there was a Chicano movement in LA where a Chicano reporter was killed by a tear gas gun that was shot to his head.
Oh, shit.
Ruben Salazar. And so Hunter goes to that community to get the story about Ruben Salazar. In doing so, he felt a lot of pressure and like he couldn't really get the story from his attorney, which is the guy that travels with him. That's played by.
So that's it's Johnny Depp as Hunter S. Thompson. Benicio del Toro is his attorney, I think.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire's also in this film. I don't know what role he plays, but that's really interesting.
And this came out around the time of Spider-Man, so it's funny because I listened to the commentaries and they're like, yeah, we got Spider-Man as this kid hitchhiker because all he is like they're on the road to Las Vegas and they pick up this kid hitchhiker. And and that's Toby because and a lot of the inspiration for the look comes from Ralph Steadman's art, who has done most of Hunter's work like this. So it's very interesting because as I listen to the commentary by Hunter, he says like Ralph Steadman can't draw anything pretty. Like that's kind of why he wants that look. And he draws this character who basically is a blonde, long-haired kid, but he doesn't have a whole lot of hair on top. And he just is a hitchhiker who kind of sets up the story at the beginning. You don't get any of the story going into it that Hunter's trying to find out about, like Ruben Salazar and everything. You have to kind of do your own research on that.
Okay.
This is just literally a drug trip, and it's told from his alternate character Raoul Duke, and he calls his attorney Dr. Gonzo. Okay. And so that's why there's different characters referenced, but like he never refers to himself as Hunter S. Thompson, the writer. And so it's just an insane drug-fueled trip that while he goes and they just take a lot of drugs, do a lot of drinking, but they go in search of the American dream. And that's why I think it's an important thing.
So this is probably the wrong takeaway from this movie, but this film is by Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
And I was on Letterboxd and I saw that he also made this movie. So this might be something that I want to check out. And it's probably not the best one to check out from his filmography. The Brothers Grimm with Matt Damon and Heath Ledger.
So, yeah. I don't know. Like I love Brazil. Like that's probably my favorite Terry Gilliam film. This may be the
Yeah.
second. I've never watched Brothers Grimm. I think I put it on and got bored.
You got a 2.7. It's about eliminating demons, but I just like the combination of Matt Damon, who almost doesn't look like Matt Damon. I had to do a double. But Lena Headey's also in this. Peter Stormare, yeah. Monica Bellucci, like it's a great cast. So
Great cast, yeah.
At a 2.7, I feel like this is one of those films that maybe people just didn't really connect, or maybe it was underappreciated, or maybe it's just a bad film. I don't know. We'll find out.
I think probably the most successful Terry Gilliam film is the Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt,
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys. Yeah, I think that was probably the best because it was that's the best Brad Pitt performance.
Yeah,
and the style and look is amazing. Like every one of his films has incredible style and look, and like Brazil is an amazing film. Like I could talk about his movies and stuff, and what's amazing is Terry Gilliam almost adapted Watchmen.
Oh,
so
that's right. There's a script, right?
Yeah. So it's really neat to kind of look at his style and say, oh, well, shit, he might have been able to pull off a Watchmen movie, which would have had a different style than the book, because he does his own. I don't know what you would call his look and style, like specifically from like 12 Monkeys, or it's kind of
like a little grungy type of. I feel
it's like cassette futurism, but with like a darker, dirtier angle. You know, especially like in Brazil, because it's a lot of tube TVs and stuff. But
so these are by popularity right now on his filmography. So you have Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I forget that's the most popular. I forget that he directed that.
It makes sense that Fear and Loathing is also here. 12 Monkeys, which I still don't know that I understood the ending of that film. But I think that's kind of the point, a little bit of that. So
it's 12 Monkeys is based on a short film called La Jetée, that is a film of time travel that goes in a circle. That literally, like you end back at the beginning, and that's why he's going through that. And I've heard that the TV show is actually pretty good. It ran for like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, because they had a lot more time to play with some of those ideas, I think. I also feel like when Bruce Willis was doing Looper, he's like, I already did this movie, I think.
Yeah. I did it with Brad Pitt, but he was a crazy person, or was he?
Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
But yeah, Fear and Loathing, and I think the book's worth reading because it's different than the film. There's a lot of stuff that's used, and the Criterion is so good because it has all this additional material. It has multiple commentaries, and the commentary from Hunter is like 2008, I believe. It's before he died.
Okay.
Of course.
But if it wasn't, that'd be cool.
He is having, like, you could tell the drugs have really affected his brain, because during the commentary, he will have moments of screaming.
I see.
That are really weird, but he's working with his assistant who's trying to, poke him during the film and have him add more information about it and stuff. And so it's really interesting, the stuff you find out about it. Hunter's a weird character, but I think everyone should always be asking, like, where's the American dream today?
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I watched a very different film. It's called Swiped. It's available on Hulu right now. It stars. Oh, I forget her name. I just had her name. Hold on.
I'm looking it up right
Lily
now.
James, and it's about Whitney Wolf, who was the creator of the dating app Bumble. But also it focuses a lot. So the movie spends a lot of time actually because she worked at Tinder first, and it kind of explores the toxic environment of her time there, and like how it could have ruined her life for forever. But then she got this other opportunity, and Lily James is great. I knew throughout the whole film, I knew she looked familiar, but I wasn't sure. I couldn't put it together until I went into
Baby Driver.
Yeah, Baby Driver. I didn't watch the Pam Anderson Tommy Lee thing, but
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So yeah, I love Lily James. She's great in this. The movies, if you like those kind of like biopic that dramatized biopic type of films, I think this works perfectly for that. Which I do. I like those, especially about these companies that are more contemporary, right? Like I watched the WeWork series at Apple.
Yeah.
There's that Uber thing. So like all these things that we kind of probably use on a everyday basis. Like, okay, where do these come from?
And
Uh,
Dan Stevens is in this. I
Dan
like
Stevens is
him.
in it.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's great. So yeah, it's interesting. It's not like I wouldn't say this is the best film, but for something dropping on Hulu that's like under 2 hours, like I was glad. I was glad to spend the time there. And like I said, I think Lily James is great. So I really enjoyed that. Um, all right. Well, what else did you watch, Clay?
I got a film weirder than Fear and Loathing.
Oh boy.
So Criterion is running a special nunsploitation films this month. And
None.
so Nun, like,
Okay.
with the Habit, Catholic Church whole bit.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and so they had a film called The Devils on, directed by Ken Russell. And I know him from, he directed Altered States. The Devils is based on a book by Aldous Huxley called The Devils of Ludlum, which is about a preacher, or I guess it's a priest. I forget how they're referred to in here, who was burned at the stake. He was known for kind of having his way with ladies, including some of the nuns.
Oh
So
boy.
this story is a historical psychological horror drama. It is so intense that I set up for an hour after the film just reading about the real history of it,
Oh
because
damn.
it is so unsettling, and it is so topical today. That's the wild part of this thing. This film was rated X at the time it came out. It was banned. Even there's been so much footage that's been cut from the film still, that even watching it on Criterion, it's an edited copy.
Oh.
So yeah, it is amazing. So it's about this. It's about the religious wars in France, and this is like the 1600s. The This guy, played by Oliver Reed, is this very kind of charismatic, handsome preacher or priest in this town, who like sleeps with women. He like knocks up this young girl and then kind of just does away with her. But it's during the plague too. And so like people are dying everywhere. This whole place, this whole town is built with these massive walls. It's amazing cinematography. The production's amazing. And the nuns are very, gosh, stimulated by him. Like the opening of the film is him walking through town, and the nuns aren't even allowed into the public because they're there to serve within the church, and so they're fighting to get at the windows to look out to see this guy. But there's the Mother Superior, played by Vanessa Redgrave, is like very hardcore about like, hey, get away, don't, you shouldn't be doing this, but she does it. And she's
Okay.
also a hunchback, which is a weird part of her story, is like she feels like she's very beautiful, but she also has a hunchback, and she fantasizes about him. And this is why it got banned. She sees him as a Christ-like figure that she wants to have relations with.
Oh.
Yeah. And she's got this hunch. She's got her head cocked to the side most of the film. She has fantasies of him on the cross coming down to be with her. These are real. Like, if you're real religious, this is very offensive, and this is why it got banned.
All I'm getting is if you got the confidence, go for it. Like, go get it. Go get it, lady.
It was, but then it gets political. So the King of France, who is just a piece of shit, like you get to meet him at the very beginning, who he kind of hosts these parties. They introduce him through the credits in a very interesting way. But it's his his religious aide, or I guess maybe the cardinal, is saying basically, hey, we need to take over. State and just church and state are going to join. That's the theme at the very beginning. And so the king is like, well, hey, this town, like I let them kind of be their own thing because of the guy who used to run the place, and like I gave them my word. So now the priest there, don't bother him. Well, he's like, well, we're not going to listen to him. They send a guy down who literally uses Protestants as the tool to use this cylinder to walk through, like a hamster wheel that pulls the walls down. Like, it's insane, the production look of this film.
Nice.
Dude is in with a chick that now he's with this other chick, the preacher, and he's like, hey, what the hell's going on? So he runs out. He sees this. He's like, show me your paperwork that you can do this. And he's like, well, the paperwork's on his way. And so Oliver Reed, like the preacher, he leaves. He has an army come out, and they all pull crossbows on this dude. They're like, you got no paperwork. You need to get the fuck out. And so he's like, I'll be back, and it'll be way worse. So his whole thing is, I am going to ruin this man in every way possible. And at this point, this guy, the preacher, has kind of had this faith, this conscious, like he's met a woman he kind of loves. Like they had this secret ceremony where they wed, but then it's leaked that like people eavesdrop and see what happens, and they start telling people. So there are all these like talks about him. And the woman, or the Vanessa Redgrave with the hunchback nun, she is she is very bothered because he's married this other woman, and is like, if he only saw me and just saw my face and how beautiful I was, he would be with me. So I'm going to turn on him, and I'm going to tell these people he came to me like a demon in the night, had relations with me, and ruined him. This all backfires on her, because then they send in like a witch hunter, like a real scary 1600 witch hunter who's like
a Vin Diesel type.
No, not that, but just more insane. Like he basically publicly has this kind of exorcism with things that are just basically brutalizing her. And all the nuns, even though they're not fans of the Mother Superior, are like, hey, you can't hurt her, don't hurt her. Like they're freaked out. And so the witch hunter and the guys who's trying to tear down the walls gathers up all the nuns. It's like, screw you, we're going to execute all of you. Puts them in a pit, has crossbows on them, and then goes, wait a minute. Do me this favor and I'll spare your lives. And he says, the king is coming, so I need you to act possessed, and I need you to tell everyone that the preacher did this to you and has abused you and done all this stuff. So they have this moment where the king from the very beginning comes into town. All the nuns start stripping their clothes off and just acting insane and crazy and trying to convince the king that like this guy's a bad dude. The king pulls one over on him, and it's just like, I knew you guys were lying. You're full of shit. I'm out of here. But that cardinal is still like, we're going to tear this motherfucker down. So fuck all that. And everyone in the town keeps kind of watching this bullshit that's happening. But what in reality is happening is they're taking away their democracy. They're taking away their walls. They're taking away their safety. And so that's why I think it's so important today. It's just very interesting. Let's see here. What was it? There was a quote I wanted to get from here it is. When government is at its most immoral, history shows that it tends to ally itself with the church, and to deflect public attention from its own corruption by demonizing convenient scapegoats, artists, philosophers, progressives, in a word, liberals. And I was like, and this was the WB wanting to do this film, and that's why they felt like it was very important. They eventually, throw, bring the and Oliver Reed's a good looking dude. Like, he has this kick ass mustache, he got this hair and everything, and they just drag him through the streets. They use things to like beat his legs. They're like, confess. You need to confess. We're gonna burn you at the stake. And he's like, oh, my face was God, and you will see him one day too, and you will pay for what you have done. Like, he's basically is like, he goes through a trial and uses God as his defense. And he was like, yeah, like, as a young dude, I did bad things. I was prideful, but I lost my way. And now, like, I realize I can do better. And so he would do these things, and then the people would kind of believe in him because they would all end with his speeches, which are incredible, by like, amen, amen, and just really praising him. Even to the point where they're tying to the stake, the guy who is going to kill him is like, hey man, I'm just going to strangle you so you don't have to be burned, because like, I believe in you, and I'll make it a quick death so that you don't have to go through the fire and everything. And the witch hunter dude is just like, confess. Like, they're all yelling confess, and he's starting to convert everyone to believing in him, because he's like, these people are just liars. Like, you need to look around and not just look at me. What are they taking from you? And man, it was so intense. It was just really, really good. And I knew I was going to talk about this a lot, but the weirdest thing I found was its connection to another film, and you're never going to believe what other film it's connected to.
I at this point, I don't even know where you could be going. So,
Space Jam 2 has a scene where they put a bunch of just wild characters that they have.
Oh, yeah. I remember people talking about this, and they're like, "Are
Yeah.
those the nuns from the Devil's movie?"
That's
in the
who it is.
background?
It's not letting me add to stage.
Oh, sorry, because I have the other thing here. Go for it. There you go. Yeah.
So this nun is the hunchback nun that I'm talking about throughout the story, who is in love with the guy, who turns on him. She goes crazy through the whole film. She's the most, I mean, of all the demented characters, she is insane. Like, there's just wild shit. And I can't believe this isn't Space Jam 2.
I remember.
Like,
I
this was
remember
the
people
weirdest
talking about. I mean,
connection.
it goes to show you, like, even on these really corporate things, like, there's still just people doing this behind the scenes, right? Like, there's people driving all this work. So yeah, of course they're gonna put that in there. I mean, the film's rated very highly on Letterboxd. Obviously, being on, you said, is a Criterion as well, right?
It's on Criterion, yeah, and that's the only place I could find it, because it's one of the most banned movies. It's one of the most controversial movies even today, but it is worth your time, and it is intense if you can handle it.
I'm also very eager to see what the AI thinks about your rant and if it picked up anything. So I'll stay tuned for that. At the end of the show.
I know I was animated about it, so
that was really fun. So interesting. Yeah, no, I saw a lot of people that I follow on Letterboxd. They have this like rated like 4 stars and higher. So yeah, very interesting.
Zero, come out.
No, Clay's what Clay's dealing with this. I watched another film that is also has some religious undertones, but not as explicit, I think. I watched.
I hope not.
I watched the new horror film Him.
Oh yes.
It's from Monkey Paw Studio. Oh, there we go. I've seen a lot. I'm still kind of processing the film. I think overall I enjoyed it. The story gets a little weird and crazy and convoluted, but I think the performances are so solid that, like, Marlon Wayans was like the perfect person to be that character. And I don't know this what's his name? Tyreek Withers. I've never really seen him on anything, but man, he's great. Like, he's just a really great presence on the screen. So
yeah,
I would say this is probably something you wanna watch on streaming, like when it comes home.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be an interesting experience. There's a lot, and this movie, like the Devils that you were just talking about, has a lot to say. Um, and the ending itself, it does not it's not subtle at all, like in the messaging of like
I
how.
got the vibe you basically sell your soul to become the
Yeah.
greatest.
So these but also like about the ownership of the teams, and it has a lot to say about the way that professional sports are structured, and also the undertones that maybe sometimes people don't talk about, of like race and how that plays into professional sports. Um so yeah, it's very interesting. So like I said, I'm still kind of thinking about it. I don't know that I need to go figure out why people are not enjoying, like why it has such low scores in some
Yeah,
of these
I like I said,
places.
I have not seen a good review of it, so
I think also sometimes when people are confronted with things about race, like very in their face, like they get uncomfortable and they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
I didn't like this," but you don't know why you didn't like it, or maybe you internalize why you didn't like it. So yeah, interesting film though. Very not as probably not as well put together as the Devils that you just talked about.
What a
Uh,
weird comparison to these two.
yeah. It might be an interesting double feature. Like now that I'm thinking about it, just because there's a lot of similar undertones. There are some really cool vibes to this film as well. Like I think the iconography of the football training contrasted with like this kind of like horror vibe. It's an interesting approach to it. So I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, maybe I did like this more than I thought. So we'll see. So yeah, stay tuned on Letterboxd. I haven't logged it, so you'll see later on what I fully
I
rated.
always go, it's a weird choice for Marlon Wayans, but I always forget that he was also in Requiem for a Dream, and because
Yeah.
that's not one I ever revisit, but it's one that
Mhm.
stays in your head.
No, thank you. No. Yeah, no, definitely not going back to that one. So, all right,
Okay.
Clay, what do you have next?
I love movies about making movies.
All right.
And I have like the final cut box set of Blade Runner that has all 5 editions of movies. But the most important thing that it has on here is a 3.5-hour documentary called Dangerous Days, the
Okay.
making of Blade Runner. It is one of the most detailed documentaries. It's so amazing. It starts from the initial script, which was called Dangerous Days, to it becoming Blade Runner, Ridley Scott, his fight with the writer, his fight with the studio, his fight with the production crew who actually even made shirts to kind of protest working for him. Like to even to the point where they got their union to kind of say, "Hey, we're done on this date. So you need to hurry up. Chop chop, dude."
No.
Yeah. It's great. And then when you kind of see the battle for creativity in a film, that's what this is. Because you have interviews with like Guillermo del Toro loves this film, and he's in here talking about it, and he says everyone hates the voiceover. He goes, I love the voiceover. The voiceover is so important to me. And then you have Frank Darabont, who is describing like the scene at the end with Roy Batty and the speech he gives about Tears in the Rain. And then it goes into the voiceover by Harrison Ford that kind of ruins the scene. And he goes, yeah, I get what the thing means, dude. I don't need you to explain it to me. I'm not an idiot. So it's like two directors who've done incredible work getting two different perspectives of what they believe really worked for the film and how it inspired them. And Guillermo del Toro is like, this film changed me as a person. Like it made me creative. It drove a new creative vision in my head. So,
Okay.
but again, it's 3.5 hours. You have to really love Blade Runner if you want to dig into it.
Time well spent, I think, if you get perspectives like that. So
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, I watch, and I don't think I talked about this last week. I did end up watching finally The Long Walk, the new Stephen King adaptation. I have a full video on the channel that goes into the details of like the differences from the book and the movie, because I actually listened to the book. But Though the one thing I will say here that I talked about in the video as well, David Johnson, who you may know from Alien Romulus as the Andy, uh, he's fantastic in this film. Like all the performances are great, and the thing about this book and this story is that it's very character driven. Like it is all about the people that are involved in this event. It once again, obviously, there's a lot of commentary on this as well, but like just you have like an hour, a little bit over an hour and a half to get to know these characters, and then they start getting weeded out, right? So
Yeah,
like these characters you've kind of become attached to very quickly, because one thing this director does very well with like the Hunger Game movies and stuff like that that he's done in the past, I think he's very good at making the characters that you're supposed to care about, make sure that you do care about them. So yeah, great performances by, I would say there's two leads on this. It's David Johnson and then Cooper Hoffman, who plays Garrity, who's like kind of the point of view character in the book. So yeah, it's great stuff. I really highly recommend it. Whether you go check it out at the theater, or you check it out when it go. I'm sure this will be on streaming or at least on video on demand pretty soon. It
yeah,
feels like one of those films that it's gonna be in the theater for a little while, but like the audience it will really find, because there's a lot of fans of the book. I think this may be one of the
yeah,
more popular book. I didn't realize how popular this book was for King, or he wrote this as Bachman, but I mean it's all kind of him
yeah.
now. So
I'm
eh,
looking forward to it. I'm gonna have to wait for streaming, but like all Stephen King adaptions, the thing that they fail at usually is getting to know the characters as before he kills them off,
yeah,
because it brings you in a lot more, and it's good to know that in the short amount of time they adapted that well.
yeah. So I watched two adaptations for Stephen King this year, Life of Chuck and this, and I really love both of them for very different reasons. Uh, they're both very emotional. I mean, that's one thing about some of the Stephen King stuff that really hits you in the gut. Like it goes for the emotions. But I am waiting for Life of Chuck. I think that's coming to HBO pretty soon, so I highly recommend you check that out while you wait for the
Yeah.
long walk. Because this was an eight. I think this was A24. So most of A24 movies go into that, and yeah, great stuff. Really, really cool. So, all right, what else, Clay?
I My wife recommended a movie that I hadn't seen from 2008 called
My
It Might
wife.
Get My Wife. It Might Get Loud.
All
Have
right.
you seen this?
I don't think so. I mean, the title sounds familiar, but that's also just a very common expression. So,
Yeah. So it is Jack White, The Edge from
oh
U2,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Jimmy
yeah,
Page hanging out,
yeah,
and it's all about music. And it is so good to just watch creative people hanging out together
yep,
and their opinions on thing. Like when they bring Jack White at the beginning, you see him like making a guitar, like from just like a hammer wood, and like he hooks it up to an amplifier and strings and gets it to play. Like it's just so neat to watch people who all have their own distinctive sounds. But as many times as you've seen Jack White, it's worth watching the movie just to see him smile,
oh yeah,
because he's not a guy he kind of has just a resting angry face.
hmm,
And you see him when he's watching like Jimmy Page just do Led Zeppelin riffs, and he just starts to smile because you could tell he's a fan. And then they just start to jam together. But then it's just uh, their perspective on music, where it was weird because Jack White says like sometimes technology ruins the music, but then you see the Edge using like amplifiers and reverb, and just the different tools that
yeah.
make music as we know it. So highly recommended. It's just a great watch.
I I just went back through our notes because I've heard somebody talk about this. Maybe it was in a different podcast. Because yeah, they recommended this as well, and I'm not like the biggest music person, but like these guys are legends. So like, especially like just seeing Jack White, like I don't know what's become of him or whatever. So,
Oh, he's still playing. He's
Yeah, I know.
he went from the White Stripes to the Raconteurs, like, and another band, and because my wife's a big fan of his, so like she brings home his music all the time, and he's a big blues fan, and you can kind of tell that in his music as it's evolved.
Okay. Okay. I won't. Let me do two quick things because the next thing is not really me worth spending a lot of time on. I watched the Liam Neeson movie nonstop. Because sometimes Netflix just throws stuff on the like and their top 10. It's so funny to see what's on the top 10 thing, like the top 10 movies. Like sometimes it's stuff from years ago, and I'm like, how did you get on the top? Is this because it's new?
Who on HBO Max is watching Jonah Hex? It has been in the top 10 for weeks. And I'm like, what
and
the
I'm
fuck?
like, is this a curated top 10 for me, or is this like, does everyone see this same nonsense? So yeah, it's two quick things. So I watched this nonstop. It's about Liam Neeson getting on a plane, and he's an air marshal, and it's kind of like a commentary on like how air marshals, after everything that happened on 9/11, like that became more like, there's like, I think there's like an air marshal on every plane, or I don't know if that's still the case. But either way, I think they kind of comment on, are they really even keeping secure or whatever. So obviously it's all Liam Neeson, so it's not it's very subtle with the commentary because it's really more about the
I
ass
remember this
kicking.
poster.
Yeah. So the other thing I watched also, because Netflix put it on there, was The Bricklayer. Have you heard of this film?
No.
So this is a film with Aaron Eckhart, and it's kind of like it's from 2023, and it's these movies where it's like a CIA agent that has been burned has to come back to do something.
What year was this made?
2023.
Okay. He also made 2 movies in 2024 where he played a CIA agent. Like he
So it
just
might be
has a series
continuation
of
of this
movies.
movie. I don't know. Maybe we can actually check it out right now on Letterboxd. The main reason I stayed watching on this film though is because Nina Dobrev is playing this film. So I was like, all right, I'll keep watching. Let's see. So decade. Let's do 2020s. Uh, Chiva Station is probably one of
Yep,
them,
that's one.
and
I think
Classified.
yep, that's one. Because
Okay,
I
so they're
saw
not
I think they're on
related.
Peacock, and I go, is this the same movie or a sequel? And it's like, no, it's the same year, and he's just playing another CIA agent.
Yeah, and then he's got this Rumble. What is this? Rumble Tomorrow Dark. Rumble Through the Dark. Yeah, I think Aaron Eckhart is in his like that phase that all these guys turn to, like do these direct video action movies. Liam Neeson went through that right before he now
Ice
has found
Trucker.
his next thing with Naked Gun. So yeah, the other thing is like the bad guy is Clifton. See, Clifton is this him? I think it's him. Clifton Collins Jr., who like just looks like a bad guy from the beginning. So like, there's no surprises here. It's fine. It's whatever. Like I said, I was just there for Nina Dobrev because I was gonna finish watching that film. So if you want to watch a good Aaron Eckhart film that's probably very timely,
The Dark Knight.
watch Thank You for Smoking. I think that's maybe outside of The Dark Knight, probably his best film. So, all right, what else you got, Clay?
You wanted me to talk about Nobody 2,
Yes.
and I gotta say, not as good as the first one.
Right.
It's sad because it's kind of disappointment. I went in, and it's like, if you're going to do a sequel nowadays, you have to outdo the original. I didn't really feel like it outdid the original, but it's Bob Odenkirk taking his family. He's back in the system.
Yeah.
He's never spending time with his family, so he plans a vacation. They're going to go to this one place that he went as a kid, and so then you come to find out, because his dad was doing the same kind of work. That's why him and his brother ended up there on vacation, because his dad was working. So of course you have Christopher Lloyd return. You have the RZA returns, and probably the best thing in it, Colin Hanks' turn as a bad guy. Like, I kind of love seeing that. and Sharon Stone really just chewing up the scenery as a bad bitch. Like, they don't give her a lot to do, but there is a scene where she comes in to just like, I'm going to go down there and kill some motherfuckers. And she's just dancing and she's just getting with it. And it is so fun to watch her just be bad. So like, that's really, I mean, the violence is the same. You have the setup for the big ending the way the first one did, but I don't see it like outdoing the first one. That's really the only complaint I have.
Yeah, I think sequels nowadays have to be either better than the first one if you're going to do the same thing, or do something so different that it just kind of feels fresh, but you're like, but it's still a good movie, right?
Great kills. There are some amazing kills in this film. That's probably the other part that I go, okay, well, they outdid the kills in the first one.
Nice. All right. Real quick, because I won't go too much into detail. Maybe we'll talk about this when it's done. I watched the first 3 episodes of Gen V, the Boys spin-off show on Prime. I really like this world. I will say these are seasons of The Boys in between The Boys. Like,
okay.
So you can go watch the show Gen V standalone, because it's like reading Justice League and Teen Titans. Like, it's all in the same world, but like Teen Titans is about the younger crowd.
Yeah.
And following those characters. But then like sometimes a character from the world of the Justice League will show up. Same thing. Sometimes characters from the world of The Boys show up, or there's like a news thing, or you find out that the Deep is part of the fraternity that's on campus, and he keeps attending the events. So it's like that alumni that will never go away.
Oh, that's a great bit.
Yeah. So it's still fun. It's still like they just love to put things in asses. That's all I'm gonna say. They're not shy about that.
They put things in asses.
So yeah, it's great. So I'll probably talk more once the season's wrap, but that did come out this week. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, we're back. And like I said, they dropped 3, and then you'll have 1 a week for a couple weeks. So all right. I have one more thing. Would you have one more? Do you have anything else?
I have a couple others. I could rip them real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I rewatched Go from the 90s, a great trilogy film that is John August, like one of his first scripts. If you know, John August did like Big Fish. He's done a lot of other films. It originally started off with just one story that evolved to this trilogy after he met director Doug Liman, who had done Swingers. Perfect 90s movie with music, but probably my favorite thing to see is a young Timothy Olyphant playing a drug dealer in the story. Fantastic.
I see him in there.
Yeah, I revisited Django. Perfect revenge film. I mean, it's just so much goddamn fun. I really have no complaints. It was interesting in just rereading the history of it about how Samuel L. Jackson's character he used Clarence Thomas as inspiration for his character. So, what were you gonna say?
I was just listening to Smartless, the Jason Bateman podcast re-released their episode with Kerry Washington, who's in Django Unchained.
Yeah.
And she was talking about it a little bit, and how one night Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx called her, and they're like, and she just waiting because she wasn't doing anything that day on set, and she's like, Quentin wants to put himself in the movie. He wants to put himself in the movie. And so like I think the role that for Quentin Tarantino wasn't originally planned for him to, because I think he's one of the people that rescues some of the slaves that have run away.
Oh, he's an Australian slave trader who takes Django to one of the worst places to work because they want to kill him, and they said, no, we're going to make sure you live in a life of suffering.
So he like they talked about how that so it was just kind of interesting to find out how because she's worked with Jamie Foxx a couple times. She was also his wife in Ray, the Ray Charles bio. So it's funny that she's kind of been his wife on multiple projects.
They need to do a third one, do the couples trilogy.
The trilogy.
Red Dwarf, a British TV show that you know nothing about, but one of my favorites.
It was proven clearly on our Discord this week that I didn't know nothing about it.
I think Red Dwarf is great British TV, great humor sci-fi. Like Red Dwarf, I put on the level of Shaun of the Dead, where humor and
Okay.
horror work, humor and sci-fi can work. I had never seen the movie The Promised Land. It was the only thing missing from like my viewing, and I was able to get into BritBox where they had a copy of it and watch it. It was okay, pretty enjoyable. I think the characters work together because they've been doing this since the mid '80s. They just keep bringing it back, and so it's just great to see them still working together and getting along. But there's a great moment with Lister and Rimmer at the end, where there's like Rimmer realizes he's so hated by these guys, and a speech that Lister gives is just really moving and nice. After all these years of them being together and being in space alone, I just kind of love that moment the most.
Nice.
I watched Naked Gun. Worth your time.
Yeah, we're doing a full show on it next week, so come back for that.
I can't wait to watch it again because, like,
yeah,
it's so good.
Like, so many jokes that I'm sure I missed so many things at the theater.
Exactly. So that's what I'm like looking forward to. The only thing I could say is like the Black Eyed Peas joke that goes through the film is
so good.
It is the reason I'm going to get Shelby to watch this. I go, you got to just watch it for the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah,
like, that's the funniest thing. And then I watched 28 Years Later. It's interesting, but there are some things that I felt like they could focus on more because they're all trapped on in Scotland. Is that where they're?
It's in the UK somewhere. Yeah, one of the it's somewhere in the off of the Isles. But
yeah. And so it's revealed that basically that whole place is quarantined. That they have boats that circle it, and if anyone tries to get off, they are going to kill them.
Pretty nuts. Yeah.
But the most interesting commentary in the whole thing is when a soldier ends up on the island and he's with this kid who's trying to help his mom because his mom is kind of like losing her mind, and there's a doctor played by Ralph Fiennes that he's crossing the zombie land to get to this doctor. And so the guy has his phone that's dying, and this kid's never seen an iPhone. So he's like, well, what is this? And he explains the iPhones to him. He shows him his girlfriend. He's like, what's wrong with her? And he goes, and he's like, what are you saying? He's like, she's incredibly beautiful. And he goes, oh, I have a friend like that. Like when she eats strawberries, her lips blow up like that too. Like it's just funny taking that commentary of like civilized world versus this zombie world that's like this kid is 12 and this is all he's ever known. But seeing someone who's just had plastic surgery all over their face and someone thinks is beautiful and he thinks is hilarious. Like it's just really great to see. But they kind of add more to the mythology. I enjoyed. It's weird, it's dark, but like I want more zombie stuff. The alpha thing is very cool.
Yeah.
And how he uses the skull and spine as a weapon from his victims. Like he isn't about eating them, he's just about ripping that off. So that was fun.
I think Jodie Comer's so great in that film.
She is. She really is.
Ralph Fiennes too. And then you get to the end, and then it turns into a completely different film.
Yes.
Which I'm also very excited for. So yeah, I really liked it. I like that we went back to this world, and I mean Danny Boyle and Alex Garland do such a great job with like bringing this back to life.
So is the sequel going to be 28 years later, 28 minutes later? Because you
pretty much,
you need to pick up the story right away. It hints at such a amazing thing that it could be going into.
Yeah, I know the sequel. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it's just called The Bone Temple, and it's really kind of following the people we met at the end of the.
I have not seen that.
Okay, yeah, there's a trailer. Neil DaCosta's directing that one, but it's still, I think, written by Alex Garland. So that's how they're able to kind of, because I think they're doing a trilogy. So I think Danny Boyle did the first one. So they got all the scripts. Danny Boyle's doing the first one. Neil DaCosta's doing the second one, and I don't know who's directing the third one.
Okay,
so
I'm in.
And the last thing I'll mention briefly, because we have a full video on our new, I'm starting a new series of what you should watch this weekend, and I'm recommending Black Rabbit. It's a new show on Netflix. Jason Bateman, Jude Law. Jude Law runs this successful restaurant in New York, but he's got a screw up brother, Jason Bateman, which is very interesting for Jason Bateman to be the character that's kind of the screwball.
Yeah, I watched him on Hot Ones, and he talked
Yeah, I
about
watched that
like
too.
yeah, because he goes, I want to play the guy that they don't expect me to play.
Mhm. I've only seen the first episode, but it really sold me enough to. It sold me enough on the series to completely launch a new series on our channel of like, let me tell you what to watch this weekend. So, yeah. So that's it. Go watch more information on there. I'll link the video in the description of this. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff on TV. All right. Now, if you've been waiting for the comics part of this,
We're finally
I
there.
think we can also just kind of go. You can do one, and I'll do a couple of the things that came out this week, and yeah, we'll go back and forth and until we run out of comics to talk about.
Okay. I hate to show the marred cover, but I was able to pick up this copy. Yeah, I know. It was
I
the
need a
half price book.
restoration.
It was a half price book sticker that it had been marked down to $5, and I could not get it off. It like the glue on it. Usually you could just peel them off pretty easy. It was
We need
just
to get
on
you
there.
a what's it called? A little the gun, the like an not a heat gun, but the blow dryer that gets a
Yeah.
little hot till you can melt the glue and.
I used that
Oh,
and I tried, yeah, because Shelby works there, so she was like, just use a blow dryer. So I was like sitting there and
dang.
nothing. Like it didn't warp. Like there was a sticker on top that started to come off, but the one underneath would not. And it looked like the corner started to. So I went with a razor blade. But for $5, it's worth it because I get a hard
Yeah.
copy of the West Coast Avengers.
You should use your paint and try to try to restore it. You know how they do
Oh,
paintings?
yes, I'll do that.
There you
I'll
go.
see. So we'll revisit this when I repaint the cover on it.
Nice.
Yeah, because even the hardback is just a.
Oh, luckily, I mean, well, that's another plus that you can always take off the. That's probably why they sticker so much on there because it's in the jacket, and the jackets are usually made out of like these paper material. So
Yeah. I
what?
love this as a kid. I have the original issues. I wanted a hardback, and for $5, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Half price books. I love it.
Does
It's
that follow them starting the team in California?
yeah. So
Okay.
this actually comes right off the heels of the Hawkeye miniseries. So if you've read that, it's him meeting Bobby, who plays Mockingbird. They get married, start the West Coast Avengers. Like it's wild because he takes Bobby back to New York. They're meeting with the original Avengers, and Vision's in charge, and he's like, we have this limit of 6 members, and so Hawkeye's like, what are we going to do? And he's like, well, I've got a plan, and I'm going to send you to LA. And so they stay in this really cool place. He gets to set up the whole mansion. Him hanging out with Simon Williams, who is Wonder Man, is pretty neat because Simon's a stuntman. That's how he's using his superpowers. He meets Tigra, who's just left from hanging out with Spider-Woman. And Rhodey, who has taken over the Iron Man costume, who doesn't reveal himself and lets them believe that he is Tony Stark the whole time.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's very dated dialogue, but it's just a fun book. I loved it as a kid. So it was great to revisit it. It's got like weird characters like the Blank, the Shroud. It also includes the Avengers book that it spun off of, and an Iron Man annual with a few of the members team up together.
Very nice. Very nice.
$5. You can't beat that.
Can't beat that. I'll do a couple because I think I have a few more things to talk about than you do, but not that many actually. It was really all one big book this week, but I will bring up, I'm still reading Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone. The Church of Godzilla is explored in this because of course if there's a massive like catastrophic event, there's a group of people that will start a church about it.
Yep.
So I think that's really cool. And then also this week, Casey Jones came back and got his own series.
Oh, really? Who's
He's
doing it?
this is by Alex Pagnadel. He's done some stuff at DC, usually some kind of horror stuff as well. It's very good. I like it because I've been reading the Turtles book, so it kind of spins out of that stuff. So, but what else, Clay? What else do you have on your plate?
Also picked up from Half Price Books was the Spider-Man Gang War.
Oh,
I got the whole run of Spider-Man from there.
does that tell you anything about how the quality of the book might be?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I loved it because it is really just the fighting stuff
Yeah.
with a few bits, because it has so many other tie-ins,
I know.
you know, and that's just kind of exhausting. And that's the thing I kind of started to love about event books, is they end up in the discount bins. So like Luke Cage Gang War, Shang-Chi Gang War, they're good. No one's buying those just to read those. They have to be part of the thing. But this
Yeah.
is the core of the arc where all the fighting takes place.
Yeah.
So it's really a fun read because it's John Romita Jr. doing Spider-Man with all the kick-ass villains. The only thing I don't understand is why Tombstone's daughter is the Beetle. Like, that was the thing I could not understand about this
Yeah, that
book.
was
But
interesting. So I read the inciting incident, which is like her wedding gets ruined by all this violence in New York, and that kind of kicks off all this stuff that's happening. So
she's a
uh
bridezilla.
yeah, kind of a Beatlezilla. So maybe I'll go back and check this out. Man, that Spider-Man run really had its ups and downs, and I like John Romita art when he doesn't have to draw people's faces, but then sometimes regular people's faces,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know I don't know where you're supposed to be. I'm sorry.
I love his stuff.
Yeah.
I always have since X-Men. He did an X-Men story that I loved as a kid, where they were able to bring in the villain from Conan the Barbarian and had I can't remember the X-Men issues, but essentially Conan's world in New York in a 2-issue X-Men run. And I was just like, this is cool. And I love his art. So I know people get on him about his face and his body sizes and stuff, but his Spider-Man action, I mean, like, you know, his dad was one of the greats, you know, and he obviously can mimic that action very well. Madame Mask is also a great villain in here. I can't wait till they bring her to the MCU.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That's gonna be really cool, actually. So, all right. I also read this week Star Wars Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red.
Nice.
This is going to be an anthology series, so you get one story all together. In this one, Boba Fett has to. He gets offered a bounty by both the Empire and the Rebels for the same person, and you just got to figure out, like, can he even get to this person? But it's Benjamin Percy writing the story,
Then
so
it's
like,
going to be good.
yeah, it's very cool. And then the whole black, white, and red aesthetic really works for Boba Fett and for a lot of these villains. Really, I think
Yeah.
that's why they're the ones getting this series, because it doesn't really make sense for like Jedi and stuff to have a red, white, and black series or whatever. So, and then on the red band side, Marvel Zombies are back. Ethan Griffin and Ethan Sheridan and Griffin. No, Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan. Sorry, the guys who wrote "Kill Your Darlings" from at Image are writing this book, and it's very cool because it's not Marvel Zombies in the main universe. It's kind of like its own little pocket universe where when the Fantastic Four come back from a space mission, they come back as zombies.
Oh, nice.
And that's where it starts. So it's very cool. This is a Clayton Crane cover that I picked up. The only problem with this book right now is that it's one of those red band titles that doesn't go digital. So like if you miss it at the shop, like you're kind of shit out of luck until you can find
I
it
hate that.
physically.
With Moon Knight, every other issue seems like it's a non-digital one. Like they're really cutting back on that, and I hate that.
It's weird. So, but either way, it's a good book. I'm gonna keep reading the series, and it has a really fun surprise. Also, for some reason, my review for this got so many more views on it than any other book this week. Like I think close to 1,000, and it might have to do with the Marvel Zombies Disney Plus upcoming series. But either way,
Yeah.
thank you for watching. So all right, I'll send it back to you, Clay, because I think I got like 4 more things, but then we can do them. Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dan Poussey
Oh,
is.
that's how you say that. That's not how I read
Yes, yeah, it's on the back. Is Poussey? This is a Daniel Klaus character that is just a satire of the comic industry. Like it is just inside jokes. It is literally the Jack Kirby quote of oh shit, how do you say it? Like comics will break your heart.
Yep. Yep.
That's what this book is. If it is the early life, the career, and the end of Dan as he goes into comics. You see how the industry kind of uses him. Then as he becomes popular, how the people who he saw as heroes look at his work and go, "You just swiped that from me." Like there's just so many inside baseball references to comics history in here that, like, if you get kind of, I don't know, because at first I started to read it and it's kind of depressing because you know the history of comics. Like there's an award ceremony where they give out these awards to guys who have been through the industry, but they've also been through like the banning of comics in the 50s, the Frederick Wortham, witch hunt, the guys who got to put their name on the comic, but somebody else was really doing the art, some ghost writers, ghost artists that worked on books, and just kind of the public system of like just cranking out nonstop stuff month after month. So you just got to find the humor in it.
All right. I also read this week. So there's a new imprint called Ignition Press, and they put out a book called Voyeur. I like that whenever I pick up books with more mature themes that are already bagged on board at Titan, because obviously they don't want you to skim through them.
Yeah.
This one starts with it's a security guard at this like kind of like this resort for rich people. Think like a White Lotus type of resort. And he's there, but he may like to peek in on some of the guests, especially if they grab his attention, because but then from there's a twist to like what he's actually doing at the resort and what this guest is actually doing at the resort. It's like this sexy thriller. Like think of those, those run of 90s movies after Basic Instinct came out in the 90s, and everybody was like, oh, people like this whole sexy thriller type of thing. So we're gonna give you a bunch of those movies. So I think
like a Silk Stockings type.
Yeah. This kind of recaptures that vibe. So and then the last thing I read before the big thing, which I'll talk about after Clay does his last book, the latest issue of Exquisite Corpses from Image.
Oh, what a great cover and great title.
Yeah, it's such a good. The first volume came out this week, which you can also go pick up. This battle royale with all these assassins on this town is still really fun, and I love this series so much. It's probably one of my favorite things that James Tynion and his gang of merry creators are doing over at Image. So highly recommend you check that out. So all right, Clay, what's the other thing you read?
Last book I got was Spent by Alison Bechtel.
Okay.
This is another, like, I feel like a strong Gen X book about post-COVID life and where we are and where we're going. Allison is known for her autobiographical books like Funhouse. This is her on her farm in Vermont with her partner and their community. It seems like it's part from her mind of like where we are as people and where we need to go, and part that's kind of made up because there's a part of it where she sold her story to become a series. So instead of Funhouse, it's like Death and Taxidermy. And so she's even like cast her family. She like cast herself in a TV show that she basically sells off the rights to. So it's like, what's it like when you sell your life off and someone else is in charge of it?
Yeah.
And so she has to deal with it because her and her friends get together every week and watch it, and she's just so disappointed constantly in what they do because it's like there are dragons and shit in it, and she's just like, what the hell? Like, uh, she evolves from becoming like, because it's like it starts in 2022, being so consumed with news and social media, and slowly over the book learning that like she can't fight every battle, can't you, if you consume yourself with that, it's just gonna wreck your soul. um and then she has friends that start a throuple, so you get to see the evolution of what a throuple is and how it becomes. And just being, like a liberal in Texas, it's interesting because these people are like the Justice League of liberals. Like they're so, everything's very gender specific and all this, the way they talk and everything, which I'm not always aware of. So it's very interesting to see them do it. But then it's even funnier because their kids are even more liberal than them. So they'll call them out and be like, hey, what the hell? Like, you can't say that, or you can't do this.
Yeah.
And so it's funny to see, even generationally, what we teach our kids becomes probably more extreme, because
they adapted in their own way as well, right?
Exactly, because like the couple that's part of the throuple want to introduce the third person to their daughter and her girlfriend, who have moved home from college, who were in an asexual quad. I'm going to get this wrong, but an asexual quadruple or quadril. I know I'm fucking this up big time. And so the dad is like, well, what the hell does that mean? They're just four people that hang out and don't have sex. I mean, like, because that's what it basically means, but they had to label it. So it's very interesting. She lives on a farm, and so everything isn't seen as years, but as seasons, as things go on. And I at first it was really tough because I related too much to like being such a news consumer. Of like, I need to be informed, but then like there's how much informed, and then like her book editor, like sometimes the news consumes her life so much that she isn't working. And I've done that where it's like, holy shit, I've spent like 3 hours, just reading shit, and I could be getting something accomplished, and so I related on a lot of levels to the stuff she was dealing with. But in the end, the best thing that she does is learn to cut back, quit social media, and just work on what you love, because there are only so many battles you can win. So you got to pick and choose those things. And the most important thing is the community you're with and the people that are around you that support you, and make sure that you're supporting them.
Yeah, it really oddly a lot of the time really comes down to that. Just like take care of your community, and then that will that should help alleviate a lot of the stuff, right? So
yeah, like another thing that the parents do in the book is like they would have these letter writing campaigns, and so they would all meet at the house and they would all do letters and send them out. And so one night they come home and her daughter and her friends are having a letter writing campaign, and she's like, they're like, oh, what are you doing? And she starts to explain. She's like, oh, we're sending abortion pills to women in red states. And the parents are like, that's illegal. You cannot do that. Like, and they freak out on her, and they're just like, oh, you're just, they just get so mad that they have to kick everyone out for what they're doing. And the parents are like, you cannot do these things. They are illegal. And then the kids are just like, well, you're just as oppressive as the state, like, you're just as bad. So
yeah. Dang. Man, that's a lot. I mean, but that sounds like something I want to check out for sure.
Yeah, I was going to recommend it for Comic Book Club, because it's, being from a red state, you just don't have the people that are committed to their community the way these people are. Yeah. So I felt like I fail on many levels just reading that, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm just not picking the right battles to fight for. So
yeah. All right. Well, it's gonna be hard to transition out of that into this next thing. So
let me guess, Deadpool and Batman.
So yeah, the last thing I read, So I'm not gonna go too much into details. I think the stories are a lot of fun, but we do have I, I shot a 20-minute video on this, so you can go check that out on the channel. It's a really fun crossover. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you all the silly variants that I picked up, because I don't have enough books on my house apparently. So here, let me just so everybody can see that very well. Okay, so we have and then Clay, you can tell me if you look at see a favorite here. So this is the wraparound cover by Greg Capullo.
Nice.
This is very neat.
Who doesn't do a lot of Marvel, doesn't do a lot of Deadpool, right?
He's done a few Deadpool, but yeah, not a lot. He's been really kind of stuck with the X-Men and Wolverine, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
This is the Archer variant with Magic and Catwoman. Who's this by? Oh, this is by Michael Cicchetto, from the Daredevil and the Green Arrow. This is the Kevin Smith story.
This
one's pretty rad. I think that story is really fun. Yeah. We have the Peach Momoko variant with
Elektra
and Batgirl. Thank you. The name just escaped my head.
And that's what's her name? Batgirl.
Cassie Kane.
Yeah, Cassie Kane.
Then we have the Scotty Young variant.
Damn it.
So there's a reason for you to buy the book, Clay. If it might already be pulled aside for you at your shop.
Yeah, it probably is. It's just I get to my store like once every 2 months now.
Yeah. So who's this one by? I can't tell who this one's by, but it's Rogue and Poison Ivy. Which there's no story for them. This is just a cool variant that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones, Daniel Warren Johnson, The Thing, and Big Barda slugging it out.
I saw this online. I love this.
Yeah, really cool. This is the main cover by Greg Capullo as well, who does the interior. It's really cool to see him draw Batman again, and the Joker in Gotham. So that's really cool. If anything, for his story there. This is the Infinity Gems, kind of like homage variant, which is also very cool. And then another homage. Do you know what the Wolverine number is for that one?
Oh shit, that's Hulk.
Yeah, I think it's 53. I don't know. I don't remember, but yeah, Ryan Stegman did this one, so had to pick it up. It's really cool though. I mean, just and then the only variant that I picked up that was not at regular price,
$340.
$340. Thank you. The only variant that I picked up that was not a very regular price was the Steve McNiven, because I think Wolverine and Batman on the same one.
Yeah.
But outside of that, everything is like just the regular variant. So
Steve McNiven, I liked the Daredevil, Green Arrow, and of course Scotty Young, always.
So that's all I have for. Hold on, where's my? Here. That's all I have for the stuff I read. I'll be doing a video on the Challengers of the Unknown series. I'm still trying to wrap that up. Christopher Canwell, which will actually ties in to the DCKO event, actually kind of tangentially, because Canwell's been helping out with writing some of the stuff outside of Mark Waid doing everything. So, but yeah, that's all I have. Clay, do you have anything else before we get out of here?
That's it, man.
Cool. Well, this was great. I think the big takeaway from today's episode is go watch The Devils, because it's apparently an unhinged yet very timely movie.
And you are prepared for The Devils. Like that's how like extreme this movie was, and it just builds. And
I don't know if I'm ready, Clay. I'll tell you that. I'm not in the right headspace.
And if all you kids want to see who the secret characters are from Space Jam 2, The Devils.
Yeah, that was wild. I remember because people were talking about it. I'm like, well, I've never seen that film, but they really made it sound like it was a big deal. So, okay. And just as a reminder, on the channel, we have reviews for, like I said, Deadpool Batman. We have the Marvel Zombies, which is doing great on the channel. And then our new series of what you should watch this weekend. Black Rabbit on Netflix. I already have what I'm gonna recommend for next week, and as a hint, it's a show that is wrapping up next week, and so you can watch all 8 episodes of it. Clay probably already knows what it is. So
yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next Saturday with some Naked Gun. Can we laugh again at the theaters? It looks like the answer is yes. But we'll
if
have
you
to
don't
find
laugh
out
at the
in big
snowman scene, then you have no
It's-
funny bone.
Oof. And stay all the way through the credits because there's so much.
Yeah.
I need to go through the credits again too. So, alrighty, that'll be it for today. We'll have Jeff back in town. We should have Josh back doing the funny. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you for joining me today, Clay. And y'all have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
See ya.
The most important thing in life will always be
El Bebo.
Peter loves you.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Get out of here.